Welcome back to FTP Speed Shop PodCast, a podcast where we talk about what you talk about in the garage because, hey, we're in the garage. I'm your host, Mike Early, and tonight with me, I've got Zach Raditz. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right, let's take care of some quick business here. I want to go ahead and let everybody know that the car show is going to be on October 8th, 2022. If you guys are in the Lincoln, Nebraska area, swing by the Child Advocacy Center at 5025 Garland and check out the car show. I believe it'll be from 1 to 4, I think, or 2 to 5. I don't remember. It's one of those two. This show is sponsored by FTPSpeedShop.com. Go over there, check it out, get yourself some merch, help support the channel, and help support the show. We really appreciate all of our followers and everybody that has supported us throughout the journey, I guess we'll call it that. So with that being said, Zach, what are you working on right now?
I'm not really working on a whole lot. I guess I'm more in the planning stages of a couple projects. I mean, that's always where they start. It seems like a brainstorm. But last summer, my 55 Chevy, which you know well, I mean, you've helped me on that car a bunch.
The tranny gobbler.
Yeah, that's what it does. It seems to ruin transmissions. So to give a little bit more context, it's a 55 Chevy sedan delivery. It's kind of like my swap meet machine. You know, it's kind of a beater 55 wagon, but it's not a wagon. It's a delivery.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't have any glass in it.
Yeah,
it's got solid metal panels.
Right. Where the glass would be in a wagon, it's got metal panels. And so it kind of looks like a wagon, like a hearse almost. I don't know. But anyway, last summer we were out on a cruise. I don't remember if it was the birthday cruise or was it It was either the Kingsman or the birthday cruise, and it was the exact same cruise that I spun the rod bearing in the Chevelle. Oh, it was the same day?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
You won because your car's already fixed. But anyway, my car has been through several Turbo 350 transmissions, and I don't know, I'm doing something wrong. I don't know what yet. I'm still trying to figure this out, but anyway, I've been through a couple Turbo 350s, and you know, in the Turbo 350s defense, these are not like brand new perfect Turbo 350s. These are like budget rebuild transmissions.
Moderately built driver transmissions. They're not like a race. Actually, they might even moderately. They got like probably different clutches and a shift kit in it probably.
No shift kit even.
Oh, really?
You know, no, this is just it's just like take it apart, look at it all, and put it back together type of a rebuild. But anyway, I've went through a few of them, and it seems like, you know, they have the same problem over and over. And so I don't know if it's, operator error or what, but either way, the new plan is to put a 4-speed in the car. I've always wanted to do that anyway. I mean, that was kind of the idea. This car has sort of like a 60s or 70s theme, you know, like it doesn't have a bunch of modern stuff. It's just got a small block in it with camel hump heads and an old L79 Corvette intake manifold, Holley carburetor, ram horn manifolds. You know, it looks like a 60s small block. You know, nothing special, nothing modern. So a Muncie 4-speed is going to be right at home in that car. So I have a transmission. I have a shifter that is actually supposed to be for my Nova. Robbing parts from the Nova. Hey, robbing Peter to pay Paul is my specialty. But I have a transmission, or I have a shifter that I could use. I might get a hold of another one. I was talking to one of my buddies in our car club, and he thinks that he might have one that I can use. I have a flywheel that I got from another friend in the car club, Clint. I need to get that resurfaced. I need to get a clutch, but I'm just collecting parts right now, getting ready to go. I think I'm going to probably tear into that maybe in a week or two. I don't know.
It needs to be back on the road. I mean, it feels like it's been down for a year, but I guess it
has almost been a year.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's June now. So yeah, it's been 9 months.
Yeah, it's overdue for sure. I mean, it's easy to, at the end of the summer, to just say, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to mess with it.
Get burned out, take some time off of it. And then it's kind of hard to start back up again and pick up where you left off.
Yeah. And you know, when you're winding down at the end of the season of car shows and cruises and other stuff, sometimes it's like, I'll get to it later. But it sat all winter and I didn't do anything to it, so it's time to go. But I guess on the long list of projects, I won't bore you with all of the projects because, you know, just like anybody, I have a ton of them. But I recently got that 2006 Chevy pickup from John. I always call him Uncle John. I don't know. Like when I'm telling other people, I'm like, oh, it's Uncle John.
I call him Uncle John too. It just
Yeah.
got confusing, like trying to say, yeah, Brandy's uncle. It's like, whatever. It's my Uncle John.
It's your Uncle John. That's all there is to it. And it's my Uncle John too, for all I care, whatever. But anyway, I got that pickup from him, and it was kind of his everyday ride forever.
Yeah,
since
daily
it was
driver
new.
since, I think he bought it in 07 new. It was the last year's special or whatever in the back of the lot, but it was brand new when he bought it. And
Right.
what was that? That was October. We were coming back from Worlds of Fun. We camped down there, and I was following him. We pulled our camper and he pulled his, and I was following him. All of a sudden I just would get like little sprinkling on my windshield, and I was like, oh, you probably drained the water out and it's just hitting the ground and bouncing up. It's just water from the camper.
Yep.
And
What does water from the camper mean?
it wasn't
from the toilet.
It wasn't black water, just a fresh water tank, because you just open it up or open your hot water heater and drain, and it'll leak a little bit as you're going down the road sometimes when you get on different angles or whatever.
I'm a tent camper. I don't know about all these fancy.
Oh yeah,
campers.
frick that tent. No, got to get away from that. Hey, and you'll have a truck now you can pull a camper with.
Well, anyway, finish telling what happened to the truck.
So we're coming down the road and going up a hill. I randomly would smell coolant or oil, just kind of get whiffs of it. And it was usually when we were hammering up a hill or trying to go up a hill.
Yep.
And next thing you know, this has been going on for probably 20, 30 minutes. Next thing you know, it's like going up a steep grade, no shoulder. I mean, his shoulder was just barely wide enough. There was a guardrail just barely wide enough to get the camper off the road. And all of a sudden, John's going, brrr. And now I'm getting peppered a lot.
And you can tell something's wrong.
Yeah, he's losing speed. Now he's doing 40 miles an hour. And he's like, there was nowhere to pull over. I was giving it all it could to try to get to the next
somewhere
exit.
safe so he doesn't get hit by somebody.
Oh, and people were driving like assholes, dude.
Well, where exactly were you guys? On I-29?
St. Joe's, probably. Yeah, on
Okay.
I-29. I don't know if we were quite to St. Joe's, but I think we were close to there.
Okay.
And yeah, it burnt oil smell. I don't know. Probably blew a head gasket. He said it was running hot. He had no choice at that point. It was, we're screwed at the bottom of this hill in a dangerous spot, so hopefully we can limp it. And he knew that the truck was getting tired. I mean, it almost had 400,000 miles on it.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, I guess this is an 06 Chevy truck, Duramax engine, whatever.
2500 HD.
Yeah, 2500 HD diesel pickup. So yeah, I think it has 395,000.
Yeah, 97, I think, or something like that.
He put every mile on the thing. He bought it new, and he's been using it to pull his camper, pull his boat. I mean, I've ridden in that truck a handful of times up to Minnesota to go fishing with you guys.
Yeah.
And he drove it every day. I mean,
he daily drove it. He put 60,000 miles on it a year daily driving it, because he'd drive into town and then worked on the south side. So, a lot of the miles weren't towing miles.
but he used the heck out of it too.
Definitely used it.
He was pretending it was a train locomotive sometimes, because he'd pull his camper and the boat both at once.
Yeah, 34-foot camper with a boat behind it.
Right. So he was working it. But anyway, so I don't know what happened, but obviously there's a head gasket issue or the motor let go, whatever happened. I don't know yet. But he said, okay, that's enough. And he got him a new truck, because obviously this thing, almost 400,000, he needs something reliable, because he goes all over. He's been like coast to coast with that thing, with his camper, down to Tennessee, to California.
Tennessee.
All over.
I don't know that he's been as far to California, but we went up to Yellowstone with it. So,
either way,
in the
he's
Montana
been everywhere
area with it. So, it's definitely been to Minnesota.
And he needs to have something that's reliable. I mean, he's taking the family camper everywhere, and he can't be breaking down on the side of the road like that. So anyway, he replaced it, and as soon as I heard that, I was like, hey, what's he doing with that truck?
That's actually your exact words.
That's like the ultimate. A lot of people say that LBZ Duramax 06, 07, what is it, half of 06 and 07?
Yeah, it went up to halfway through 07. It was like the classic or the new body style.
And it is an LBZ, right?
Yes.
Without question, because they made the LLY and the LB7 or LBZ. I mean, LLY and LBZ. I think, wasn't that what it is?
The 2005 and a half or something, or maybe.
I think they went through halfway through 2006.
I think they stopped in 05. But we're splitting hairs on things we both don't know. But
well, I don't know either. But I just recently have been researching this, obviously. So
it was like a 2-year motor, roughly.
Yeah. But a lot of people regard it as like the very best Duramax that was made.
Pre-emissions.
Pre-emission. I mean, it does still have an EGR valve, which is technically kind of an emission thing. No def, none of that stuff. And I think that they make the most power and torque, or at least to that point they did. And anyway, a lot of people are like, this is the best of the best for Duramax, pickups. So I don't know if that's true. I mean, you have one, you like it.
Yeah, it works just fine. I mean, it's like, I don't know, 660 foot-pounds of torque or something like that, and it pulls the camper fine. It gets up to 80 miles an hour. It'll drag that camper all over.
Reliable as heck.
Yeah.
Easy to work on for the most part.
No, not really.
Yeah,
I hate working on that thing.
Yeah,
I
but
spent quite a few hours underneath the hood, and it's not fun.
It's because whenever yours has a problem, you're in a pinch to get it going because it's your work truck, and you need it every single day.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not fun. But so anyway, I got that truck from him, and I'm thinking that, hey, it can be a good project to fix it, figure out what's wrong with it, and then have a good usable, diesel pickup. I don't think I'm going to be going. I'm not going to use it the way that he did.
Yeah,
I'm not planning on pulling a big camper all over the country. But heck, when you need to pull a trailer or whatever, you need a good pickup. It's real handy to have it just sitting there ready to go.
Yeah, if somebody breaks down or whatever, it's like you don't have to be like, well, I'd help you, but I have no way to help you.
Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of like having a car trailer. If you have a car trailer,
you get a lot more friends when people find out you got a car trailer.
Someone always wants to borrow it or ask you to help them or something.
Yeah, I just loaned mine out to Aaron last weekend so he could pick up that Kia that his kids vandalized.
Well, that's a whole nother story there, but I like that kind of thing. So that's why I wanted is to be able to help do stuff like that. And so I have a plan. I've been kind of, I don't know. I guess I talked to John about this 6 months ago, probably, that I wanted to get that truck from him. Finally, last week we went and got it. You came and helped too. We got it. It's over at a buddy's place, just waiting so that I can tear into it. But I've been putting feelers out, asking a bunch of different people I know, hey, do you know where there's an LBZ long block that I can buy, for a good deal? Because I don't get it. I guess I'm a gas engine guy first and foremost, but these engines are worth a lot of money, especially with as many miles as they have on them. I can't believe it. I mean, I feel like the cheapest one I found, which I just found the other day, my buddy Clint put some feelers out, and he's a diesel guy. He's got an LML Duramax, the next generation, I think, after the LBZ.
Yeah.
Maybe his is LMM. I don't know what it is. But anyway, it's a newer one than this. And so he asked his friends, and I just got a call yesterday, actually, from him. He said a guy that he knows has an LBZ long block. So, no turbo, none of that stuff. And I think he said it has 200,000 miles on it, and he wants $3,500. And I'm kind of thinking, wow, $3,500 for a 200,000 mile long block. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. I was getting butthurt at looking at 6 liters with 200,000 miles on them for $1,200. I was like, no way. But I would feel more comfortable spending more money on a Duramax or a diesel than I would a gasser.
I'm just totally out of my element. I don't know anything about that stuff. I mean, I understand how it works. I understand how it's the same thing as a gas engine, except for uses compression ignition. Obviously, everybody knows that. But I don't know a lot of the little ins and outs. Like, what do you upgrade? What do you do? How hard is it to take this apart? Is this a 3-hour job or a 30-hour job? With these trucks,
it's closer to 30.
Lot of things. Well,
it's definitely not a 3-hour job.
Well, I'm just saying, like, in general, I don't know what I'm looking at or dealing with. And I'm not used to being that guy. I'm used to knowing a lot of stuff about what I'm doing with, small blocks, early hot rod stuff. I mean, any cars, really, I don't ever struggle because I've experienced a lot of different stuff, rebuilding engines, motorcycle stuff. I don't know. I'm not used to being the guy that doesn't know anything, it's been a long time since I've been on a learning curve like this.
Well, it's good for you. It helps you grow.
Yeah. So anyway, I hear about this $3,500, used engine. And this is the first time you're hearing this, because I just found this out last night. And I'm thinking, okay, $3,500, oh, that's not so bad. But, what is really wrong with the engine in the truck? I don't know.
Was the truck rolled, or was there some sort of issue with,
No,
with
I mean the truck that I have.
Oh, I got you. In John's, what's actually wrong with it?
I would hate to pull an engine out that just needs head gaskets and disregard it, and then put another engine in there that's not that much better.
Yeah, that's true. It won't start. And if it blew a head gasket bad enough, it probably isn't going to start.
And hey, it might have blown a head gasket, and he might have torched the head, or he might have, it might have done some other damage. I know that those LBZs, I think that the pistons crack sometimes if they get hot enough, like enough boost and EGT or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I know his was all stock. Yeah. But either way, so my plan kind of right now, I think I'm going to try to get it up to the shop where I work on stuff at. And I don't know. I think the plan is, and I talked to a couple friends about this last night, just saying, hey, what do you guys think about this? Are you willing to go down this rabbit hole with me or not? Yeah. And they said, yeah, let's do it. So we're going to pull the engine out of it. And I think we got to pull the front clip off to make it easier. Did you do that when you did your head gaskets?
I pulled the driver's side fender off, and that made things a lot easier.
So I think I'm going to do that. Radiator support, is that welded in there, or is it spot welded, or can you unbolt it?
I think it'll unbolt, but don't quote me. I'm pretty sure it's just like the Suburbans and the half-ton trucks, where it's a aluminum core support that just bolts in and sits on the front of the frame horns.
Right. I mean, I've heard of people pulling the cabs, and I'm okay with doing that too. I mean, I used to do that.
If you cannot have to disconnect the turbo to pull it out, the turbo downpipe bolts are the problem, because they're literally that far away from the firewall. And if I was lucky, mine I was able to break free fairly easy, but I've heard horror stories of people just, they get a ratchet halfway on it, round the nut off or something, and people cut holes in the firewall so they can just get a impact in there to buzz those 4 or 5 bolts or whatever that's in there out. So
I'm hopeful that we can get it out. But I mean, I've heard stories about pulling the cab and this and that. And the thing is, I'm totally fine with pulling a cab. I mean, we have a lift and everything to use. There's no problem with that. But
God, that seems like a lot of work.
I don't want to pull it all apart and leave this truck scattered in 1,000 pieces for a month or 2 or 3 months or however long.
Yeah.
I mean, I already have a Nova that's that way. Thank you for that, by the way.
No problem. We do what we can to help you scatter your parts even farther away.
So, you know what I mean? I just don't want to leave it too far apart for too long. So we're going to pull the motor, or at least the plan right now. We're going to pull the motor out of it, bolt all the stuff back on the truck, push it out in the parking lot, let it sit there, without an engine in it or whatever. And then we're going to take the engine over to Clint's place, because Clint is he's a Duramax fan, and he's had several of those trucks, and he knows a lot of stuff about them. But he told me last night he's never had one all the way down. But he's like, you know what? I'm itching to do it. I want to do that sometime.
The cool thing when you pop the heads off, the cylinder walls, I forget what it's called, like leopard spotting or something. They have a bunch of black dots, like ovals all over it, and when you pop the head, you're like, oh God, that's not good. What the hell is that? But it's completely normal.
It's from gas porting in the pistons, isn't it? The ring lamps.
I'm not sure what it's from. I don't remember, but I remember when I popped it off, I was like, oh God, that's weird.
Is it below where like the ring ridge would be on a normal?
The whole cylinder.
Oh, the whole cylinder.
Yeah.
Well, those are called leopard spots, if you didn't know.
That's what I just said.
And that's because it runs like a leopard through the valleys when you're pulling your camper. It's like fast.
It doesn't seem that nimble. It doesn't seem that nimble. I don't know.
So anyway, we're going to pull it apart and take the motor over to his place and tear it down. I'm going to have to find an engine stand that can handle it. He says it's only supposed to be like 700 or 800 pounds. So that's like a big block Chevy. But I really don't want to have like an engine stand crumble in half and have this thing hit the ground. So we're going to get it over there and tear it apart and figure out what's wrong.
Yeah, maybe just, well, I mean, I think you got to go at least inspect the bottom end. I think that'd be foolish at that point not to.
I'm
But
just
pop
gonna-
the heads off and see what the hell it looks like.
I'm hoping that we can just rebuild it. I mean, if it broke a piston or blew a head gasket or damaged the head somehow, I mean, I can find another set of heads. I can get the heads repaired. I can send them to the machine shop. I have connections for that sort of thing. If we need to put new valve springs and valves, I don't know what all stuff wears out in those things. You'd think with 390 some thousand miles, everything is trashed.
Yeah, diesels run out a lot longer. They're built stronger, obviously, for the compression and stuff like that. But they're not spinning the RPMs either. Their red line's going to be 4,500 RPM, 5,000 tops, and it's not a 7,000 RPM motor. So it's seeing less RPM, and it's staying down in that lower RPM range is where it makes all its torque. So revolutions are a lot lower, and that's probably why they go more miles. That's my theory.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I guess there's a lot of reasons they probably last longer than they do. I think one of them, too, is that they're more expensive, and so people tend to take better care of them. They don't thrash them the same way they do. They keep up on maintenance. Maybe you don't.
Meh.
But a lot of people do. I mean, John certainly did with this truck.
Yeah, no, the interior looks like it's got 120,000 miles on it.
Oh, yeah, the whole thing is way better. You would never think the truck has that many miles. But a lot of people do that with diesels because, hell, it's a lot of investment to buy the thing.
$10,000 more just to get the Duramax in there rather than the gasser, the 6-liter.
15 years ago, it was more.
It's probably $20,000 now.
So anyway, I'm thinking we're just going to do a rebuild on the thing. We're going to tear it all the way down, and if I got to get the crank turned or get another crank, whatever, get a new set of pistons. I mean,
have you looked into pricing that stuff? Is it ridiculously expensive compared to a gasser, or is it all kind of a piston?
I have not researched that yet, and I'm sure that it's more expensive than a 6-liter LS would be out of a normal gas 2500 pickup, but whatever. I'm looking at it like this. It's going to cost me $3,500 in that range anyway to get a used short block. So if I can rebuild the engine that's in it for that price,
or even a little bit more, and you'll have a technically a 0-mile motor.
Yeah. And so the only other thing that I'm thinking is maybe I can save a little bit on rebuilding the engine myself. Which I've rebuilt lots and lots of engines, so it's got piston rings and bearings and all the other same elements that every other engine has.
Same thing. It all works on the same principles, basically, as far as it's converting linear force into a circular force to spin the wheels.
So if I can save a little on the engine rebuild, and repair whatever's damaged, maybe then I'll have enough left to buy a new turbo, because I think that's the original turbo on that truck.
Yes, as far as I know, yeah.
And I think that's getting kind of to the end of their life normally.
I think you're getting close, and who knows what it ran through, if it did shell a bearing or something and it's running a bunch of, material through the turbo.
Remember what we were talking about the other day where we need to invent, we shouldn't even talk about this right now because somebody's going to swipe our idea.
Yeah, swipe or no swiping.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that then.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was thinking maybe we can rebuild the engine, have a fresh engine, all new gaskets, upgrade the head studs to ARPs or whatever, because I think that's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
ARP
everybody
makes
has. You don't put it back together without doing that. Do some upgrade stuff, whatever the easy. I don't want to do more horsepower and all that. I just want to make it
more
reliability. And good.
Yeah, maybe do an EGR delete and stuff like that on it. It's insane how much carbon and stuff gets put in that upper intake from the EGR. It's just diesels are carbony and dirty anyway.
Yeah.
In that aspect, and then all that shit just gets pumped right back into the motor. It's ridiculous.
And it's for a good idea. Not emitting that out into the atmosphere. I understand.
Reburning unburnt fuel basically through the. But I mean, it's
like breathing your own farts. Do you really want to do that?
Yeah, I'm not into that.
I mean, we can hook a hose up to your pants and run it up to your face. But
no, we can hook a hose up to my pants and run it up to your face.
I don't want your EGR. I don't want your exhaust gas pumping through my engine.
You don't want to recirculate that? All right. Well, fine. Fuck you then.
But anyway, so that's my plan. I don't know what you think about that idea. I mean, the worst case scenario is we pull the engine out and tear it apart, and we wasted some time.
The motor's got to come out anyway, so you're not really to pull the heads off, pull the oil pan off. I mean, you're going to be out a couple hours tops.
Right.
And that's not worth, or I mean, that's not really a waste of time to do that exploratory surgery. You're going to be
And it's fun, actually.
Yeah.
It's a learning experience. Like Clint said, he's been kind of itching to do one of these. He hasn't done it yet. He's looked at videos or whatever and seen pictures and all this other stuff, but it's different to say, yeah, I tore one apart. I know what that's like or whatever. So that's kind of the idea. And you know what? At the end of the day, if I have to go buy a reman short block or maybe a used short block or whatever.
Yeah. What's a reman short block?
Well,
$5,000?
No, I don't think it's, I think that there's a lot of variance. First of all, it seems like with these LBZ engines, everybody is interested in power upgrades, and maybe I would be too if I had been the one that put 300 and some thousand on the thing and been pulling a camper.
While you're in there, might as well.
Yeah. But to me, I'm starting at zero. I don't know what a stock one is really even like. I've driven them, I've driven your truck before. I've driven a bunch of other diesel pickups. All over the country really for work. I've been all over the place. And I've always been impressed by every single one of them. I don't really think I want any more than just a stock one. So,
yeah, it's just torque on demand, basically. They just go and they work.
And so I'm happy with the stock one, but it seems like all these places that are selling reman short blocks or long blocks or whatever, you don't really find, or at least I haven't so far found a bone stock one. But I did find a place, and I spent about 3 minutes looking at this so far, so I might be talking out of school, but there's a place in Long Island, New York that's actually right down the street from my uncle's repair shop there that I was inspired by that shop in the 90s when I was a kid to want to go to work on cars. It's right down the road from his place out there, and they have one, and I think it said $4,300 with a core.
Yeah,
and then
like
shipping,
$1,000 core or something.
Oh,
stupid.
I think it was more even.
Yeah.
But anyway, like whatever, maybe $5,000 in the $5,000 ballpark with shipping and everything. And I'm thinking, dang, that's only $1,500 more than the used engine. So wouldn't I rather,
as long
spend
as
a little
your
more?
heads weren't toast and you could swap all the top
No, it's a
end
long
over.
block.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
I thought you said
it's a
short
long block.
Okay, well then never mind.
Yeah, so new camshaft, you know what I mean? It had all that stuff new. It was a completely remanufactured engine, and I'm sure that there's about 500 other places that do it, but a lot of places are doing performance upgrade stuff. Forged pistons, billet crankshafts, forged connecting rods. But I think LBZs have forged rods from the factory.
Couldn't tell you. Don't know. Didn't get that far into research because it didn't really affect me.
Yeah, you didn't want to rip yours apart yet.
I got to go get this done and get to work on Friday because I think I tore mine down on like a Wednesday.
I remember when yours was apart, I said, "Hey, you can borrow the plow truck if you want for a few days," and you're like, "Nah, I don't think so."
Well, if I borrowed the plow truck for a few days, that would be 2 days where I didn't get to work on it. I'd only work on it at night, and doing the head gaskets on that. I think I did head gaskets and injectors at the same time, and that took some time. It was a bitch to do that in the car. So,
would you say that's the most difficult, like
hardest thing I've ever done on car wise?
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's saying something because you've done a lot of stuff on cars, man. I don't know. I think it's because
it's hard. You're comparing apples to oranges because you're literally leaning. The car's too tall to be comfortable to work on, so you're on your knees on the core support, leaning over it the whole day. Yeah. So it's difficult wise. It's not as bad as like disassembling an entire car and putting an entire car back together. Like that's way more labor intensive and takes way more time. But as far as if I had to choose to take the Chevelle apart all the way down to bare bones nothing, or do head gaskets on another LBZ, I would take my Chevelle apart tonight.
But you have to remember this too, and maybe this is me just trying to have a positive outlook on this, but because I haven't done it and I don't know what I'm talking about yet. But I experienced this back when I used to be a technician at dealerships working on cars. You never have fun working on that stuff because you have to. And then when you're out here working on your Chevelle, you have the tunes cranked, you're listening to Ted Nugent or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. On repeat, on loop.
And it's fun. That's your therapy, I guess, is coming out here after the kids go to bed and working on cars in the garage. and it's a fun thing because it's a fun car. But when you're working on your work truck and you're like stressing because you know that the longer it's down, you can't go to work.
Yeah.
That's a totally different thing.
Yeah, you're rushed. Anytime you're rushed, you end up breaking.
And it's an unexpected thing.
Breaking a bolt off, or absolutely. You're not expecting, your injector to randomly go out when you floor it one time across Highway 2, and then when you let off the gas, it sounds like you have a rod knock. You're not, and you're like, oh sweet, I just ruined the motor. Well, it's got oil pressure, and then HP tuners to the rescue to start turning off injectors and isolate the problem. That was the first time I had an injector go out, and I was too broke at the time and didn't have the time to do all the injectors, so I ordered one. I think it was from Lincoln Diesel Specialties. I think they're out of Philadelphia or somewhere, maybe Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, something. But
Philadelphia is in Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia, but I don't know if it's in
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I don't know if it's in Philadelphia or if it's in Pennsylvania somewhere.
Well,
if that makes sense. I actually have the receipt over there I found in my stack of receipts when I was cleaning my toolbox out. If you want me to take the time to go look, I will.
I don't need you to.
If you want me to.
Maybe when we're done here, I'll ask you to prove it.
Okay, prove it.
But anyway, so yeah, that's the diesel pickup project. I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea to do what I'm going to do, but the way I look at it is it's going to have to happen anyway, and I'm not really...
The insane thing about those
time.
Yeah.
That's it.
The insane thing about those trucks is I put 100,000 miles today. Actually, was I officially clicked over, I think, to 100,000 miles on my truck since I've had it.
Yeah.
And I pretty sure I could sell it for at least what I paid for, if not probably $5,000 more.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane how expensive that they are right now. Or it's all cars in general.
And that's cool, right? It makes you feel good about your investment.
Yeah, but not when it blows up and I have to replace it with something else.
Well, that's just it. So, if you were to sell it, you'd maybe break even or make a few bucks or something. Mm-hmm. But then the next one that you want to go buy, because you need a truck like that. You can't go without it.
Yeah, not going to buy like an 06. I'll buy like a 16 or something.
You're going to spend 40 or 50 or 60 grand, and it's crazy. And I don't need one of these trucks. Like, I can get by without it, but you cannot. I
got to have a 3/4 ton or whatever.
I don't even think you could get by for very long on a gas pickup, because you're using a dump trailer pulling, full loads of heavy trailer, stuff, pulling bobcat.
Trailers. I took the trailer to the dump because I had a bunch of windows and stuff in it, the enclosed trailer. And, the rig just rolling down the road, and it wasn't really loaded down that much with the truck, and the trailer was like 15.5.
You need a CDL pretty soon, bud. Soon as you hit 26,000 to 1 pound.
Yeah, that's a cutoff there. Well,
yeah, the DOT is going to be on you.
Well, let's change the subject because I don't like talking about DOT.
Yeah, I don't either.
So,
all right. Well, let me interview you then for a little bit, since you're hammering me. So, I know about this already, but what is your new project that you're all excited about?
Well, rewind slightly. As of
I'm asking the questions.
A week ago, I'm getting there. Okay, asshole. First of all, I'm interviewing you. You're not interviewing me. No.
God damn.
What was probably about a week ago, maybe a little over a week ago. Every car I owned, or I do currently own, or currently owned at that time, ran and drove, which is a really weird feeling. I've never had that once in my life. There's always been one in the back or one, hidden somewhere, or at one point, 2 weeks earlier, I had 2 cars out of the 5, 6 I own, I guess. I guess technically Winnebago, it would start, but I don't know if
that thing doesn't. You don't own it. It owns you.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but it actually would start. I think.
Would start. Yeah. So the in-laws out on a farm have I think it's like a 47 mail truck, 1947 mail truck. I don't know exactly what year. There's not a lot of information. I've only found a few pictures of what they looked like new, that they converted into an old job site trailer in the 70s, or somebody did. So they cut the center link and put a bar in it so it can turn and follow the truck. Well, you mean like a tow bar would be back in the day? Like they hooked the front bumper to the rear bumper of a truck and just pull it around? They hooked the front axle has a pivot, and then a bar comes up to hook to the truck, and then right where the center link is for the steering, they cut that, or they welded that bar to it, and so it turns the wheels as a truck's turning.
Oh,
So it follows
like a triple axle semi trailer kind of does that, I think.
something. I don't know about that, but so they graciously gifted me that because I always said, "Oh, that thing's so ugly, it's cool."
It's been sitting out at their farm forever, or what?
Everybody I've talked to has been out there as long as they can remember. So I'm assuming it was probably converted sometime in the 70s or whatever to a job site trailer, because Bob did heavy highway, so they probably put all their grease and oil and stuff in it and pulled it out to the jobs where they were building highways and things like that.
Wait a minute. I thought this was from Kevin.
It is. So Tony's grandpa's name was Bob.
Oh, okay.
And that's where
it's not Mel. It's not Mel.
Melvin was
him.
her dad. Yeah.
Okay, because he had the excavating company or whatever.
Yep. So
okay.
I don't know that Melvin had anything to do with that. I think it was Bob, but I could be wrong. Tony, if you're listening, you can correct me on that.
Bob is Melvin's dad?
Linda's dad. Okay. But yeah. So
okay.
Kind of, yeah, whatever. The farm's been, I don't forget when they bought that, but it's been in the family for
back in Nam.
Yeah, I think it was before that, but yeah, the price I paid for it too. I don't remember what it was exactly, but
$1,200 in 1906.
It was like $57,000 for 40 acres. Whatever setup.
Back in the 70s, probably
50s, 70s, something like that. I don't remember 60s. Sometime. Either way, not important. So
back when people didn't want to live outside of town. Now everybody's like, I want a little fake farm, 3-acre.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Jesse calls that Dodick Estates.
I don't know what that means, but I like it.
You're not. You want to pretend like you're something you're not.
It's a gentleman farmer, I believe, is what that's called.
Yeah, it's.
You don't want to get your hands dirty, but you like to dress like your farmer.
I want one too.
You want a Dodick farm?
I just want to be away from people, and I want to, like sit out on my porch drinking coffee in my underwear on Sunday mornings, and like nobody can see me because there's trees all the way around my property or something,
Hell yeah, that's my life goal, is to sit around in my underwear and drink coffee.
You do that anyway. I drive by here and I see you doing it.
No, not usually on the back porch.
I don't call the cops on you most of the time.
I mean, I have walked outside of the garage multiple times in my underwear before, but that's neither here nor there.
I went over to my parents the other day, and my dad was doing it in the morning on Saturday.
Sitting on the back.
This is probably 6 months ago, honestly. Well, not the other day, but yeah, he was letting the cat outside the back door, and he was standing there in his freaking whitey tighties. It was a sight to see, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Anyway, snail mail. Let's get back.
Yeah, boy, you told me to stay on task. Look at you. So I'm
interviewing you. I get to.
Project Snail Mail. Project Twin Snail Mail. So I believe what I'm going to try to do is it's too tall to fit in my garage. It's like the height of it's like 7.5 feet high.
Is it out back?
Yeah, it's out back.
We're gonna go look at it when we're done here. Actually, make sure you put a picture of it.
I will. I'll flash a picture of it. Maybe I do a little video of Kevin pulling it out with the Bobcat.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna pull the body off the frame and then bring the frame in the garage, because then I can start fucking with suspension and fitting the motor in it. But I got another 6-liter, and I do believe it will be twin turbo for twin snail turbo.
So this
snails.
is kind of like my 55. This is in the brainstorming phase where you're like, this is what I want to do. But
it got really real a little over a week ago when I put it on the trailer.
But you don't have any of these parts bought yet, like the turbos and all the other stuff.
Don't have any of the turbos. Don't have any of that stuff bought.
So for anybody that's listening, like Turbonetics or any of you major turbo manufacturers, if you'd like to sponsor this podcast, Mike would be extremely happy to work with you.
Yeah, anything. I am more than willing to take anything you guys are willing to give me.
We will not accept anything from Summit Racing, only Speedway Motors.
I will accept anything from anybody. I'm an equal opportunity poor person. So, the idea basically is probably what will happen is the motor that's in the Chevelle now, because I have that running on the quote unquote summer motor, just to get it by. That motor was going to be the motor that went into Twin Snail Mail. Already got the rings gapped, stock bottom end.
And it's an LQ4. I mean,
LQ4.
I'm an avid subscriber of the YouTube channel, so I watched the video.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Where you uncovered the fact that it was an LQ4 rather than an LQ9.
Mm-hmm. Was that when the head fell off of it?
No, that was when.
No, that was that one. That was.
That's the other
one
engine.
from the machine shop. Yeah.
Oh, actually, so they both are LQ4s then.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I did get all the parts back for the forged rotating assembly, 6-liter. However, I'm still waiting on my rings that are back ordered, so I can't really put anything together. Hopefully, the end of June-ish, they'll come in, and then I can start. But I figured, there's no point to swap the motor out. I'll just wait till the winter to probably do that. And then I had a couple other thoughts. It's like, well, if that's a forged 6-liter, it's good to go. I don't know if it would hurt anything. Just if Project Twin Snail Mail starts coming along really fast, I could throw that in there, and put some real boost to it. But this
new 6-liter for the Chevelle, the I don't know what an opposite of a summer motor is. The winter motor.
Yeah,
you're not going to drive the car in the winter.
Yeah, that's what Aaron's waiting for.
How much compression ratio? What's the static compression ratio on that?
It's going to be around 9.5 to 1, I think, is what it was.
That's a little bit high for.
Maybe it was 9.2.
Yeah,
it was. I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head. I think it was in the mid to low 9s.
What is an LQ4 for static compression ratio?
I don't know. I think.
Well, I'll stop interviewing you now because I thought you were an LS guy.
I am not an LS guy, and if I'm an LS guy, then I'm an LS guy for LS VTEX. So I'm more of a Honda guy, and even then, I don't claim.
What's the compression ratio on a K20?
Dude, everybody knows that. That's fucking 10.4 to 1.
How about a V18?
V18, that's going to be 9.8 to 1.
How about an H22?
H22? Are we talking JDM or just fucking? I don't have no idea. 10 to 1.
I don't really think that you're. I don't know if I believe any of this, but well, anyway, back to the Twin Snail Mail all forged 6-liter that could go into that. I think that's a little bit too much compression for twin snails there.
Yeah,
unless you're gonna. I mean.
I'm not talking about spinning the sumbitch out with 30 pounds of boost. That could happen accidentally though. When just have some sort of wastegate failure or something like that.
I don't know tons about turbo stuff either, but
this will be my first turbo build, so I'm kind of excited to tear into it and kind of see and just learn the process. Like you said with the Duramax, it's something that you don't know. You always kind of. You hear about it, you see about it, everybody does it. Everybody's got turbos on everything, but I just never have had the opportunity because it hasn't really fit any of my builds. So this is...
Well, you've always been kind of a traditionalist. Like you resisted the LS thing for a long time and you stuck with your small block in the Chevelle for 20 years or whatever it was. Like you don't have 20-inch wheels on the Chevelle. You've got 15-inch drag lights still that you've had since 1999 or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the way to go.
You don't just jump on the bandwagon that fast. You kind of wait and investigate things for a lot longer than some people do. So just so you know,
LQ4
turbos
is
do make
9.4 to 1.
Okay, so that's not bad, I guess. Not that much worse than not as bad as I thought it would be. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying now because you rudely interrupted me.
Yeah, basically you were just telling me how awesome I was for not jumping on bandwagons and how much you really appreciated the fact that I, am a realist and a purist when it comes to awesomeness. Well,
I'm still waiting to see if this turbo thing is legit. I mean, this might just be a fad.
Are you talking about in general or me?
In general, like turbos,
turbos
this newfangled technology.
No,
I'm not so
Stay.
sure. Is it? Do they actually work?
Yeah. Somebody told me once they run on Demon Magic and Voodoo, but I don't know for sure.
You run out of Voodoo pretty quick.
They make these cool sounds though, like.
Because I bought one of those tornadoes one time.
Oh hell yeah!
Blazer.
Hell yeah!
I put that thing in there, and I was
tornadoes.
I was sure it was working.
You could feel it
because I was smoking the tires and stuff, and it was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
it even seemed like the thing had posi after I put that in there.
Whoops! I accidentally answered that. Didn't mean to answer that phone call. I meant to ignore it, but that's fine. I have no idea. It's probably something for work.
Oh.
But anyway, so Twin Snail Mail is going to be a mail truck, and it's going to have twin turbos, and I don't know. It's going to be interestingly neat and fun and cool, and it's just one of those so ugly it's cute.
So obviously this is a long-term project because
I want to put it on an air ride too. I want it to sit. I want the body to sit on the ground.
Slam Specialties, Air Ride, or Ride Tech, whoever's listening to this, if you want like the gnarliest project you've ever sponsored, then go ahead and
like, share, and subscribe.
So anyway, Twin Snail Mail would be pretty cool. I'm sure that you've already put a video of it out, or a teaser video.
I did a little short of it. I was going to try to get it over back in the driveway here this week, but we're going out of town on Saturday, so I'm really running out of time to get stuff done. I'm doing another podcast with Kevin on Thursday, so my week's filling up fast.
Kevin, your father-in-law, Kevin
Webble.
Oh, Kevin Webble. Okay,
so
cool. Maybe I'll have to come down and interrupt you guys. Yeah. Interrupt you guys while you're doing that.
So,
one thing I wanted to talk about too, just in case anybody's interested, or maybe to
you got
pump it up or
anything
something
you want to share and get the information out about?
Well, I'm excited, I guess, because for Speedway where I work, we're going to be going to the Good Guys show in Des Moines here over the 4th of July weekend, and it's been a long time since I've been to that show over the 4th. I don't remember if we went last year and had a booth.
I feel like COVID shut a lot of stuff down. Maybe we were coming out of it last year a little bit in the summer.
Yeah, we used to go to a lot more shows, and I would like to just simply blame it on COVID, but there's a lot of different factors, which I
tax
won't get
loopholes
into.
Probably.
Well, there's a lot of like implications to going to certain shows in certain areas. You have to follow certain rules for income tax withholding and sales tax, and we always try to keep our customers in mind when it comes to that sort of thing. We don't want to compromise a whole bunch of orders for just going to one show, but obviously that's different now with whatever they call it, the what's that new tax thing where pretty much everything on the internet is taxed now.
I don't know, but I do know that everything is taxed now.
Yeah,
They've got it all figured out for your state that you're buying it in, or that it's being shipped to.
Oh, down to your county, because it or city even.
Is it really that in depth?
Oh, yeah.
I guess it would be, because it has 7.25%.
Yeah,
or
if
whatever.
you live outside of the city, you have a 5.5% tax rate. Anyway, not getting into all that stuff. We haven't been there for a long time, and I don't think that we were there last year, but the museum at Speedway, the Museum of American Speed, which for those of you who don't know,
get a chance,
awesome.
Check it out. They've got, and it's not just cars. I mean, they got lunch boxes and pedal cars and
oh my god,
plaques
everything
and
in
engines there. And they got a whole wall of flathead intakes and stuff like that. It's just craziness, the stuff that's in there.
As I'm thinking about what the museum is like, I don't even really know how to verbalize it, because it's that good. And when you say there's lunch boxes and cars, it's like, that sounds not that
I'm just saying it's
exciting.
not everything but cars. It's it's basically all car related.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's that, it's just insane the amount of stuff that they have.
There's a ton of variety.
Yeah.
And really it's more like a museum of Americana and a museum of, exactly what it's called, the pursuit of American speed. Mm-hmm. We don't really have cars or engines or anything that were made outside of the United States. I mean, there might be a few little things in there here and there, but primarily it's focused on USA made stuff. But from the late 1800s, we have items in there from there all the way pretty much current. There's a lot of new stuff in there too.
Land speed record things.
Oh, we have the world's fastest small block Chevy powered streamliner. We have the world's fastest flathead Ford powered streamliner, the Flatfire. I could go on. And actually we should do one of these sometime where we really focus on that museum. But anyway, the museum will be there inside the building at Good Guys in Des Moines, and they're going to have some display items, and have museum staff, and it's going to be awesome. And then my department, the sales department, We'll be there with a couple of cars at an outside booth. I think we're going to have 3 cars. We'll have a small trailer, no product to sell, but we'll just have some items on display. So look for us outside. Kevin will actually be there too, Kevin Webbles. So, I mean, you know him. Steve, I think Steve will be there. Steve Wickheiser will be there.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have a couple other guys there too. I think we're going to take a car from No Coast, possibly. That's in the works of trying to get that sorted out. I think TJ may let us take his Nova there and have it outside at our booth. And then we kind of have a third booth, sort of. Team Speedway will be there with all the autocross race cars. We'll have the big semi there, the big Volvo semi with the 53-foot Featherlight trailer. 67 Camaro that has a Hillborn injected small block.
Very cool looking cars.
It's not. It looks like Hillborn injection, but it's not. It's a 440 small block. It's like a gnarly, all aluminum small block Chevy. Robbie Unser is going to drive that. Pikes Peak champion, IndyCar racer. Guy knows how to get around the cones for sure. We'll have 70 Camaro there. LS power, LS7, 700 horsepower or whatever it is. And then the original G-Comp car, the 65 Chevy 2, and it's got an LS7 in it now too. LS7 based. It's not a legit Z06 LS7, but it's
not a factory motor, but it's based off.
Yeah. Dry sump, aluminum, everything, makes a couple horsepower.
Couple. More than one anyway, for sure.
So yeah, we'll have 3 different things, and that's July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This year, the 4th is on Monday. So it's kind of cool for anybody that wants to travel. They have a whole day off on Monday. Most people, anyway, have a whole day off on Monday to kind of, recoup from the weekend,
unwind
travel home,
bit,
whatever they're doing. So yeah, come and see us at Good Guys in Des Moines, and I'll be there just kind of in and out. I don't know if you're planning on going, but
I don't know what we have planned. It seems like the 4th of July weekend usually gets pretty busy, so I'm sure we have something going on. It's hard to say.
I'm excited this year because the actual 4th is on Monday, so we can go do stuff over the weekend and then come home, and then there's still the actual 4th of July. So
yeah,
you can go to your barbecues and all that different stuff on Monday, or try to make it work that way anyway. So yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. There's a bunch of our friends that are gonna be going, so it should be.
It's always fun. Always fun to convoy up there with a bunch of people and just take that journey to get up there. You gonna have the 55 ready to go for that?
I don't know that. I mean, we're a month out right now, so this will probably come out. This will come out before that, right?
Yeah, this will
like probably week from now, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I think I'm going to start working on it. Probably not this weekend, but next weekend, and it shouldn't take that long to put the transmission in it.
No, it shouldn't. It should be fairly straightforward. I mean, it was probably a manual car.
It was
to start, so hopefully it makes it a little easier going back to it. You got the holes already cut where you need them, and
well, I patched the hole in the floor. Somebody used a can opener on the floor in 1978 or whatever year
they
put
their new shifter in or whatever.
So I made a new panel for the tunnel, so I'm gonna have to cut a big hole in that. So I'm a little bit
use your can opener.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
You don't want to do it that way? Why not? It's nostalgia.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably use maybe a cutoff wheel, I was thinking.
Yeah, that's fine. Make sure you wear your safety glasses.
Yes. Another thing I wanted to talk about, which I don't have a ton of news really, but the Kingsman Cruise is on again for this year. This will be the 3rd year that we've done it. I know that you've been there every time. The people that watch this podcast and watch your channel most certainly have seen the coverage that you've done in the videos, and maybe most of them have even been to it.
Yeah, is this 3rd annual?
Yeah.
Hey, look, I still have the 1st annual bracelet on. That shit won't die.
Are you being serious? That's still from that show?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm retarded, and when I put these on, I just leave them on until they break, and normally they break after 6 months, but it's been almost 2 years.
Wow. Tim, if you're listening to this, order those from the same place every year because they last.
Yeah, it's insane. You can't see, there's no more writing on it. All the writing wore off right away. Yeah. Now I just have a stupid black bracelet on.
Well, I guess thanks for your support.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm supporting you guys where I can.
But the Kingsman Cruise is on for this year. I don't know. This isn't a rock solid date, but I think it's going to be on September 17th, which is a Saturday. It's also a Husker football game, because we get into September and those are the early season. I think we're playing Oklahoma actually here.
Oh, good. So
it's like a pretty important thing because, the Husker.
Oklahoma, the Huskers
rivalry.
will get their ass stomped in by Oklahoma. And
I'm hoping that we don't, but
everybody
never know.
will be mad and beating their wives and stuff when that happens.
Well, I didn't know about any of that.
Because you got people around here live and die by that. Sorry if I offended any Husker fans, but I could care less about football.
But anyway, we're planning on it for that day. It just works best for a lot of different things with other shows and cruises and stuff going on around here. It's going to be a little bit different this year than it has been in the past. And I hope I'm not letting any cats out of the bag or anything like that because I'm not on the cruise committee. I don't actually have a whole lot to do with this other than the day of getting, told
getting everything ready to go.
Doing. But, we kind of have been outgrowing Ben's parking lot a little bit. It's just we get so many cars there and we always try to have a band and food vendors and other stuff. So this year we're kind of brainstorming, like, what do we do? Where do we have it at? There's not a lot of places that are affordable that we can have a big show.
Because you want all the proceeds to go to the charity of the choice.
Absolutely.
And so if you got to spend, $1,000 renting a parking lot or something,
that's $1,000 less they get.
Exactly. So
yeah, last year we donated almost $5,000 to Fighting All Monsters.
Yeah, which is awesome.
We use all of our own money to generate, a profit. Technically, we're a 501c7 nonprofit organization, so we don't actually turn a profit. We donate all of our profit. But I was super happy with how that turned out. It was insane. But we donated almost $5,000. And if you're exactly right, if we have to go rent a venue, that's money out of the pockets of the recipient of the funds. So anyway, what we're going to do, and this is locked in, we're going to have a good old fashioned pasture party at Bob's farm north of Lincoln, a little ways on highway. And you might be hearing this for the first time.
Yeah, this is the first time we're airing it live. It's not really live, but you know what I mean.
No, but it's live for whoever's listening to it because they're alive.
It's alive. It's not live. It's alive.
So it's going to be very similar to what we've done in the past. We've always talked about we don't want a lame car show. And no offense to the people that have car shows, but our expectations are a little bit higher. We want to cruise our cars.
Exactly, yeah.
None of us have insane showstopper. Well, some of us do, but most of us just have regular old cars. Like my car, it's just a beater car, but I have a lot of fun with it. And we want to get out and drive them. We want to go to places. We want to stop, in a small town somewhere and everybody have lunch and keep going, almost like a poker run sort of.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're going to go do a couple of stops, couple small towns, maybe go 75 to 100 miles, and then meet back at Bob's place, which is right next door to Restore Muscle Car on North Highway 77, right north of Lincoln, Nebraska. He's got a 40-acre farm there with a huge field. Everything should probably be pretty well cleared out by then as far as the crop and all that stuff go, because he grows corn and soybeans and all that stuff. I don't know. Is that too early for harvest? I guess I'm not a farmer. I don't know about that.
I think it depends on the weather and things like that, but it's probably getting close to that time.
I know that we're going to have it there either way. So we're running over soybeans if we have to.
All right.
But we're going to
popping off cookies in the cornfield.
We're going to have a trailer, like a big, I don't know if we're going to get a flatbed semi-trailer or have a flatbed, fifth wheel trailer, gooseneck or whatever. We're going to have a band, maybe two bands. I don't know yet. We're going to have food out there. I don't know if we're going to have food vendors or if we're going to just smoke pork butts or brisket or something like that. I mean, all these details are
got to get TBD. Ironed out. Yeah, they're in the works right now.
But one thing's for sure, we're going to have a car cruise and we're going to have a party, in the pasture at Bob's house, and it's going to be awesome. I can promise you that. So
yeah, I'm not a fan of car shows. Really, the only reason why we're doing the car show, and I wanted to incorporate a cruise into ours last year, and it just didn't work out with the venue and how everything went. But now we're kind of started doing it, and so we're just going to keep going with it. But I love the car cruise. I'd rather have a cruise. Everybody meets up, starts at a point, and then you finish at a final venue or place or something like that. And then everybody kind of gets together and gets to hang out at the end of the night or the end of the day or whatever it is. And so that's the part of the reason why the birthday cruise and the Kingsman cruise, Kingsman cruise now, after, you guys have had done 2 of them, it's one of the, it's one of the highlights, I guess, for me, as far as car wise goes each year. Birthday cruise has been around this will be the 11th year of that, I think. So, it's been a staple. I haven't missed one of those. It's been one of my few things in the summer I look forward to. It was a gambler, fishing trip, birthday cruise. So those are kind of my, and then now we added Torque Fest in there, which, doesn't happen. The gambler's kind of gotten weird. So,
well, don't sell yourself short on car shows. Like, your show isn't just a show. I mean, it's more of an event.
Try to make it more family oriented or whatever, and do some little stuff like that.
Again, I don't want to be like offensive to people that host car shows, because they're still a good time. Don't get me wrong. I like going to car shows, but it seems like some of them are better than others, right? You go there, and when you have a band or when you have something that's more exciting, a burnout contest, tricycle races for kids, whatever it is.
They need to be, for lack of a better term, more festival based, I guess, like where there's other things to do besides look at the cars, because you can walk through a car show and within 15 minutes and half an hour, depending on the size, you're like, well, yeah, okay, I've seen it all. What are we going to do the rest of the 4 hours we're here or whatever? Yeah.
And for a lot of people too, they're taking their kids with them. They got to do something to keep them interested and keep their attention a little bit. Or if you have a significant other that wants to go with you, or that you want to go along, it helps to have something fun for everybody. Like, we could go to a car show, you and I could, and we can probably kind of feed off each other and be like, look at what the guy did here, look at the detail of this or that.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did they route the coolant lines on this car? I can't see them. Where are they at? But if you're there all alone, you don't really get as pumped about it. And then when you bring the family, it's kind of like,
don't touch the car.
You just want to have something that's fun for the whole family, not just for yourself.
Exactly.
And so that's what you're trying to accomplish with your show. And I think that you did.
That was the first time around. There was definitely some hiccups and hang-ups, and we're gonna work on it. We've got a new venue, and they seem to be a lot more excited to help. Like the lady that we're working with, her name has slipped my mind right now, but Brandy's been communicating with her, and she's just...
Is it Becky? I think you said her name the other day.
I don't know what her name is, but I can look it up if it's that big of a deal.
I think it's Becky.
We'll go with Becky. So yeah, we're gonna meet with Becky in July, because they're under construction right now, and they're gonna kind of go over layout and details of the show a little bit. So,
are you going to pretty much replicate the same thing that you did last year at the show, or what do you? I mean,
yeah, it's going to be a little bit shorter. Not having a 4-hour event or a 5-hour event. We'll skim it down to 3 hours. We're going to try to have. We're working on possibly getting a fire truck or something there for the kids to look at, because I think that when I was a kid, I was like, holy, look at that is amazing, like these guys are awesome.
What about if you had Kevin bring a backhoe or something?
That's actually a good idea too.
Because remember when you were a kid and you're like playing with your bulldozer or your dump truck, or even a dump truck would be cool if you...
Abby is her name.
Oh, I thought it was Becky.
No.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong thing, I guess. Anyway, bring a piece of construction equipment. I don't know. Something like that is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Just anything to, keep people. You got to worry about liability and things like that with stuff like that. And
yeah, but you can't be scared of your kid having
I'm
be
not
so scared to
of it.
not let your kids be a kid and have fun.
Well,
you know,
now that's what life's all about now, is just overprotecting and sheltering our kids to the nth degree. So
some of that's great. You know, some of that is necessary.
I think we got to let our kids make some mistakes on their own. Otherwise, they're stifled a little bit, and their growth is slowed.
I learn best when I make a mistake. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's cost you time, money, and energy, and those are all things that are very precious.
Yes, they are.
So,
like that time, I think it wasn't me. It was probably Derek. I'm pretty sure it was his fault. He threw a washer down. He threw a washer
you threw
down.
him right under your intake.
He threw a washer in my intake manifold, and I said, "Where'd that washer go? I know it was there." And he said that he didn't think it was in the engine, so we went ahead and started it anyway.
What'd that sound like?
What's that?
What'd that sound like?
Kind of like that.
Good sounds. Yeah. I think we're going over to Derek's tomorrow night to... Jackson's been super big in his Honda Expresses, mopeds lately. My garage now is like a moped mecca / scooter mecca. They're just everywhere. They're multiplying
Those are
daily.
called no-peds.
No
right?
peds,
They
yeah.
have no pedals.
Yeah, no pedals, scooters, whatever. They're multiplying rapidly around here. And so he's got that frame and fork and gas tank sitting over there that he wants to sandblast. And we're going to paint them. I think I'm going to try to paint that 6-liter that just got back from the machine shop at the same time. So we'll open up the paint booth and spray all that stuff. And he wants to do it before we go on vacation on Saturday. So we'll try to get that sandblasted.
Who's going on vacation?
We're pulling the camper down to Branson.
Oh,
with
that's right. Before you guys go.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, I'll be over there tonight or tomorrow night too.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be working on his new 383.
Oh, for the 55?
It's a super cool Survivor 55 Chevy. The guy who... Did he talk about his car when he was on the podcast or not?
Not really. He basically said he was working on the Cadillac motor for Jen's. So
his car is 55... it is a Bel Air, but it's a post car. And he bought it, I don't know, 12 years ago now, maybe 15 years ago. He's had it for a long time, it seems like.
Well, we've done 11 birthday cruises will be this year. He had it before that. So
yeah. So I remember the first birthday cruise is the last year I had my 71 K10. That's crazy.
Oh, that's right.
Been that long.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's got this 55 Chevy. He bought it from a guy that obviously it had been sitting for a long time. It was a field car, you know, like in American Graffiti when they talk about field car or whatever. But it had been sitting in the field for a long time.
Yeah.
And the funny story behind the car, not funny story actually, but the story behind the car is the original owner of it or builder, because it was a hot rod in the 70s. You know, somebody had a small block and a 4-speed in it, and it had a bunch of old stickers on it.
It's got like a paisley painted dash or flowers or something
it's like
on it.
Vinyl, or not vinyl probably, but some sort of like flower wallpaper.
Yeah,
contact paper.
It's got the dash. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like, you know, probably put in there in the late 60s. Anyway, the guy that had the car, and Derek knows what his name is. He's looked it up. He actually went to prison for murdering somebody.
Oh, hey now, that escalated quickly.
Got into like a bar fight situation back in like 1972 or something like that. And you know, I don't know any of the details really, but I know Derek said he found some shell casings in the car. And,
they had bodies on them.
I don't know. But anyway, it was just kind of one of the...
Does Derek's car have bodies on it?
I think it was just around for what happened. But anyway, it was or it still is like a metallic brown painted.
Is that a factory color?
No, it was like that pink and
like salmon pink color,
salmon
or whatever,
and charcoal or whatever it would have been like color. But anyway, it was brown when it was brown in the 70s, and it's still brown right now, and it's a pretty cool car. And a long time ago, we built a small block for it, It was actually the old 350 5.7 liter Vortec small block out of his dad's Tahoe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his dad had a 97, 96, whatever year Chevy Tahoe, and had it for years, and then somehow the Tahoe got wrecked one time on accident.
That's how it's all good accidents happen.
Yeah, I think a tree grew right in front of where the Tahoe was driving
Oh,
at.
yeah.
And anyway, the Tahoe was finished then, but his dad, being the
Resourceful.
resourceful brainstormer that he is, said, well, I better save the motor out of it at least. I know that thing's a roller cam small block, thinking of a project like this for it later. So it sat around in the garage for years. Finally, the motor that was in it was tired and, puking coolant and stuff everywhere. So Derek said, okay, let's get a small block together for this thing, so we did, and we rebuilt it, new rings, bearings, everything else. The engine was in beautiful condition. It was great. It had 150,000 miles or whatever on it. But we put a comp hydraulic roller cam in it because it's a roller block, so it makes it really easy to put a roller cam in it. The lifters were in beautiful original condition. So, of course, I'm kind of a cheapo too. I took them all apart and cleaned them. Took literally the hydraulic portion out of the inside of the lifter, cleaned the heck out of everything.
Went all in.
Oh, yeah. We don't mess around.
So I was watching Stand By Me the other night, not to cut you off. I was speaking of Derek's car in the brown color.
Yeah.
And I just happened to see
That's the car.
Derek's car is in Stand By Me. It's that brown 55 right there with snow tires on the back.
I don't know if that's the car, but it looks like the same
It looks
car.
exactly like the car. I couldn't believe it.
I think a lot of stuff was that poop brown color in the 60s. They had green, like that olive green. They had orange, some nasty yellow.
Oh, yeah, cat shit green.
Brown.
Cat piss green.
Yeah, that's your color of your Chevelle interior, wasn't it?
No, my
one-
Chevelle. Yeah, all of them I looked at. Mine was a black interior originally.
Yeah, you looked at a 72 or something.
Lots of 72s, 71, 72s. It's just cat piss green on cat piss green on cat piss green. So
Anyway, it was time to build a small block for Derek's car, so we did. And of course, we had to do a little bit of hot rod stuff. So we did a set of Vortec heads. I'm pretty sure we put big valves, because they're like 194 intake valves from the factory. I think we put 202s in it, cut the valve guide down for more lift, because a Vortec cylinder head is limited by valve lift by the tall guide. So the valve spring retainer will hit the top of the guide boss if you don't cut it down. So we cut it down. Joe out at CarQuest is the freaking man, and he hooked it all up. He did all the machine work on this stuff. We put a comp hydraulic roller cam in there. I don't know what else we did. A bunch of other little
that motor
stuff.
ran forever. I mean,
ran
that
great.
thing is that's the first motor in that thing, isn't it? Or did he
No,
have?
that's the second.
Oh,
So the first one was just a crate small block that he got from somebody at Bryant, I think. Or maybe it was like a Jasper rebuild. Anyway, so last summer, I think last fall. No, it was last fall. Actually, it was the same day I blew the transmission. His car was knocking.
yeah.
It had a little bit of a knock noise, real faint though, and it seemed like it was only under load, which is like a rod bearing for sure. And but it was a little weird, and he put lifters in it, didn't solve it. He did a bunch of other weird stuff, didn't solve anything. Because I think he pulled the valve covers and one of the rocker arms were loose. So one of the lifters
Automatically
was
just thought that, okay, cool, that makes sense.
They were old lifters, they were the original Vortec lifters that we cleaned up and reused. And I thought maybe the hydraulic portion of it failed and it wasn't holding pressure. So he put a new set of lifters, same problem. Anyway, he ended up pulling it apart and it had a bad rod bearing. Smoked the crank, whatever. So Derek being Derek, he's like, I'm not doing this again. We're doing this. We're going all out. We're doing it right.
Yeah. There's no point we're not fucking around anymore.
We're not screwing around. So he ordered a rotating assembly from us at Speedway. We balanced it, did everything. He got another block because somehow a drill bit was flying across the shop in a circular pattern, and it went directly from the freeze plug that he wasn't trying to get out yet, but he wanted to get out, and it drilled all the way through there, all the way in through the cylinder wall somehow.
What?
Yeah, Derek was drilling a hole in the frost plug to get it out, even though that's not how you do that.
I thought you just hammered it into the block and called it a day.
Well, then you got to get it out of the block.
No, just let it go to the bottom.
No. Anyway, so yeah, he was drilling a hole in the freeze plug, and he went all the way through the cylinder with the drill bit.
I would expect better from him.
Well,
Or did he do that subliminally, subconsciously, trying to just
the
say,
hard way.
trying to just say, I didn't think this motor needs to retire.
We learn best the hard way sometimes.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
absolutely.
so the block it's not junk, but it needs a sleeve now.
Yeah, so it's junk.
So he found, well, actually, no, those roller small blocks, or the blocks are
for all
hard to
intents and
find.
purposes, it's junk.
They're hard to find.
Sell it to a circle track guy. They love those things.
They can't use roller cams.
No.
Or not all of them.
Certain
Actually,
ones
nobody
can.
that builds their own engine can use a roller cam in, hobby stock stuff and in sport mods or any of that. Anyway, back on topic here. So he got a new rotating assembly. He has another block. He has everything all ready to go. The cylinder heads are still good. The camshaft is good. He's got a new set of lifters. He's got his same tri-power setup that had been on the car.
Looks fucking beautiful.
Oh, it is beautiful. That engine bay is wicked. Metallic brown firewall, Edelbrock intake manifold with 3 9 Super 7 carburetors, all chrome,
So pretty.
Tri-power
so pretty.
linkage.
Love the way that looks. It's one of the prettiest looking engines I've ever come across.
Oh, man, it's awesome. And it ran so good. And it got good fuel mileage. I think he said that he was going to Kansas City or Platte City, Missouri for that Greaserama show one time.
Yeah.
And he got like 19 miles a gallon or something like that.
Yeah, I thought he would, high teens, low 20s or something. Because he was just on the single carb until he needed it.
And it had power. It sounded mean. Like, he's got ram horn manifolds on the car. Chrome ones, of course, because the whole engine's like chromed out pretty much, like you would do in the 60s. Mm-hmm. Stainless exhaust with some turbo mufflers or something. Man, it sounds good. Maybe it has glass packs even. I don't remember what. No, it has Flowmaster hush power.
Oh.
Flowmaster hush power mufflers, I think. Speaking of that, Flowmaster, if you're listening, anything that you'd like to donate to FTP Speed Shop will be used on their cars.
Absolutely. We'll definitely name drop.
But anyway,
And don't forget to go check out FTPSpeedShop.com and get yourself some merch. Help support the channel.
anything else? Anything else you want to push? I was just joking, but you took it serious.
Yeah. I'm just going to cut you off one more time. That's it. And don't forget to check out the car show on October.
But anyway, so Derek's engine is ready to go together. The new engine, same.
Yeah.
Some of the same parts, some new parts. He went ahead and got a 3 3/4 inch stroke crank to make a 383 this time. I think he got some Icon pistons. I can't remember. Maybe they're Molly pistons.
I mean, you're just splitting hairs on details here that probably don't matter.
Well, it's an all forged 383 bottom end.
Yeah.
Nice hydraulic roller. It's going to be awesome. I mean, it's going to make some power. It's going to be pretty reliable. Way nicer small block than I've ever had. So I'm a little jealous of that, but that's
you
okay.
always got time.
I've had plenty of time, and I still haven't got anything done yet.
It's true, but you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that going. You're gonna get yourself a nice little. Actually, you're gonna be a big block guy probably.
I am a big block guy. I have big blocks now. I'm starting to purge all my small block stuff.
Get rid of all that trash. Just stick it to the big blocks.
Man,
Oh, maybe you got
gotta
some
grow up
good.
someday.
Maybe you got some good big block parts for John and his new truck.
I do. I already told him that. I said I have plenty of stuff, leftover stuff or spare stuff if he needs anything.
So,
But anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm doing tomorrow is we're going to go work on Derek's engine. And hopefully that thing will be going. Hopefully by the birthday cruise, I mean, that we have plenty of time.
Yeah,
I think so.
There's no reason why it wouldn't be. I mean, I think he should be able to have it up and running in probably a month or so. But
I'm hoping even less than that, honestly.
Yeah.
We should get the motor together, at least a short block together tomorrow.
Yep.
And maybe the heads the next night, the top end, and then stick it back in the car.
Maybe I'll bring a GoPro over there. I know Jackson wants to get that stuff sandblasted and get rolling on that because he's going to pimp out that Express. So he asked me on the way home from Trap last night. He's like, hey, when you paint that motor, you said you were going to paint it before we went on vacation. And it kind of went to the back of my mind. I haven't really been focused on that because it's not a huge deal for me to get it painted. I just kind of wanted to paint it now while it's clean and not have anything.
But he heard that and he's like, raring to go.
Yeah. So he's all fired up. He pulled the parts one apart and got all the parts off he needed so he could get it, get the part sandblasted he needed. So he's all jazzed up on that. So now I got to go buy some clear coat hardener because mine got hard and pooped out. So
it's probably only like 15 years old or something.
No, it was from the Prelude.
So 5 years old.
No, like last winter. 5 months old.
So yeah, PPG, if you're listening to this podcast here, we could use a sponsor.
PPG, Omni,
Omni, Shopline, man.
Shopline, sorry.
But actually, that's no good either. BASF, if you're listening to this.
Yeah, Rust-Oleum.
Hey, man, beggars can't be choosers. You'll take whatever you can get.
Absolutely. So
well, I kind of ran out of stuff to talk about. I don't know. I talked about all my kooky ideas and projects.
Yeah, boy, you had a lot to say about all those kooky ideas. I gotta say that. Boy, I didn't get a word in edgewise.
This is my podcast. Thank you.
Welcome to the Zach Show. I am Mike. I'm just sitting in the corner pushing the buttons. So right. I do want to say you guys can go ahead and look up the podcast now in audio form on iHeartRadio, FM Player, Amazon Music, and we got our first 3 up there. I'm working on getting the other ones up there. I just haven't decided if I'm going to nut up and pay for the $10 a month membership in order to keep uploading all of them and get them out on Spotify and things like that. So probably should just go ahead and do it, but it's, you can only spend so much money on stuff that's just draining money out of the bank account for cars. So got to decide what I'm going to do with that, but go ahead, check them out, give them a listen. And I'm excited for that aspect. I think I don't know, watching them on YouTube is kind of hard. Especially because I listen to podcasts at work. So in the audio form, I just checked them today and found out they're all on, and I listened to all 3 of them on there today.
My thing about YouTube podcasts is my dang phone is like lit up. The screen's lit up, so then my battery goes dead. Yeah, and I got to leave my phone on while if I'm listening to it at work, and then like I said, the battery goes dead. So yeah, I'm excited to have them in audio, just audio only form. Yeah. So I'm in the process too. I'd like to get them put up on the website too somehow. I got to talk to Spike about that and have him get up there and design that, but he's busier than hell, so he has a hard time getting. I kind of go to the bottom of the list stuff, sometimes working for friends, they go to the bottom of the list when I think customer. He was waiting on this one friend of his to help him patch the roof on his garage. It's a similar thing.
I patched the roof on his house, so it couldn't have been me.
Well, I was in his garage one day and it was raining, and like all of a sudden
it's raining in the garage.
It sure was. So he had to get the bucket over there.
Yeah, we had a bunch of ridge cap blow off this spring, and I had a leak right after we finished this coming out of that junction box in the ceiling.
Yeah, but my point was that he was going to have this really good friend of his go over there and fix the garage roof, and then he was too busy and he couldn't do it.
No, I went over there immediately when his house was leaking. The same day he called me and fixed his house roof, so it couldn't have been me.
I didn't say it was you.
Maybe it was somebody else he knows. But anyway, long story short, all my cars run, so I had to get another project, and you guys will be seeing more of Project Snail Mail in the future. And hopefully I'm doing my best to keep up on these podcasts, although it gets more and more difficult the busier we get with summer and kids and stuff. So I think we've only missed one of our every other weeks, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, if anybody else out there wants to be on a podcast, if you're local and you're into cars and hot rod stuff.
And I'm even willing to try to do Zoom in and figure that stuff out, because I think always learning and growing the skill base and the knowledge base. So it'd be cool I'd like to learn how to phone people in. I think that would be interesting. We could put a whole nother level on it, give somebody a call and have them answer a question if we have a question or something like that. Or if we're like talking about Derek's car and we're going to go, hey, tell us about what's the brief history on your car, and we can just give him a call and make sure he wasn't, doing anything important. So he could come on here to do something completely unimportant.
We can just call him if you want.
I don't really know how that'll all work. Just put the phone up to the... actually, I think if you plugged in the headphones to an audio mic, I think it probably would play through the receiver. But I have to figure all that out. So Got anything you want to plug? Any socials? Any? Got the car show in there and things like that. Anything else you want to?
Yeah. Summit Racing went out of business, so don't bother calling them anymore. Jegs went out of business again. They were doing it. They had
all of them, huh?
Yeah,
Just
they're all
like
gone.
that.
So the America's oldest speed shop, Speedway Motors, since 1952, we're still here. 1-800-979-0122.
All right, yeah. Give Speedway a call for all of your hot rod needs. And I'll leave it at that.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching or listening at this point, because now we do have audio version. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you got any questions or anything you guys want us to talk about on the podcast, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let us know what we're doing good, what we're doing wrong. And yeah, we appreciate everybody. And check us out on FM Player, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Podbean's podcast thing. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Later.